Welcome back to Have More Babies. You know, we spend so much time tracking the big milestones with our kids, those first steps, reading, riding a bike. It's amazing stuff.
It really is.
But it's easy to forget about all uh, the tiny, complex things happening inside them, right? The system's working nonstop to keep them healthy.
That's so true. The body's internal workings are incredible. And parents hear terms like lymph nodes thrown around, usually, when one is swollen and they start to worry.
Exactly. But what are they really?
Right. Most of us don't fully get how crucial these little things are until something seems off.
Okay, so that's what we're digging into today. We've got some great research here about these unsung heroes of a child's immune system. Our goal is to really unpack it, what they do, where they are, and crucially, help you figure out when a swollen node is just the body doing its job versus something you actually need to, pay closer attention to.
And it is complex. What's really fascinating from the research is how these tiny bean-shaped things are like super smart checkpoints.
Checkpoints.
Yeah, acting as the first line of defense, filtering out trouble almost instantly for nearly every infection your child bumps into.
Okay, let's build this from the ground up then. If we imagine the body's circulatory system, the blood vessels, as like the highway system.
Good analogy.
What's the lymphatic system? And how do lymph nodes fit into that picture?
Okay, so if blood vessels are the highways, think of the lymphatic system as maybe the city's sanitation and security force rolled into one. It's this whole other network of vessels.
Okay.
And the fluid moving through it is called lymph. It's mostly clear, maybe a bit yellowish, and it's packed with white blood cells. Those are the body's security guards, essentially.
Okay. So lymph fluid is moving around, collecting waste, maybe catching bad guys. And the nodes are?
Exactly. The nodes are like the police stations and the water treatment plants combined. They're strategically placed little hubs.
Hubs, right.
Their job is to capture and filter out all the junk the lymph fluid picks up, bacteria, viruses, even old cell bits. These nodes trap them, and then specialized cells inside neutralize the threat. It's constant cleanup and defense.
That really clarifies their job. Okay. Anatomy? We know they're kind of everywhere. But why do we only seem to feel them in certain spots, like the neck?
Yeah, that's a great question. It helps to think about superficial versus deep nodes. We have hundreds scattered throughout the body, but the ones we usually feel are clustered near the skin.
Okay.
The research points out 5 key areas that parents or doctors typically check.
First one, probably the most familiar, is the neck area, right? The cervical nodes?
Yep, that's number 1. Then you've got the armpits. Those are the axillary nodes.
Okay, armpits. And then down lower, the groin area?
Right, the inguinal nodes. Those 3, neck, armpits, groin, are superficial. You can often feel them if they get swollen or inflamed because they're close to the surface.
Gotcha.
But there are 2 other really important clusters deeper inside, in the chest and the abdomen. Ah, okay. So you wouldn't feel those ones swelling up.
No, you wouldn't. But knowing they're there reminds us that this immune response, this filtering, it's happening throughout the whole body, not just near the surface. It's systemic.
That's a helpful distinction. So we know where they are, roughly. But let's talk functions. What are they actually doing all day when they're not swollen and causing us worry? There are 3 main jobs, right?
That's right. Function 1 is basically what we just covered. Filtering lymph, trapping and destroying those harmful microorganisms, keeping the lymph fluid clean.
Makes sense. Filter number 1.
Function 2 is really where things get sophisticated. Antibody production.
Ooh, okay. Tell me more.
This is pretty amazing. Think of it like custom weapon design. When a node traps a specific invader, let's say, the virus that causes chickenpox, specialized white blood cells inside that node recognize it. They kick into high gear, making specific antibodies designed only to fight that particular virus. It's how the immune system develops memory.
Wow. So it's not just filtering, it's like an intelligence agency and a factory combined. Exactly. It learns and adapts.
Okay, wait. If they're constantly filtering, constantly catching things, why aren't they swollen all the time? What's the difference between normal filtering and that noticeable swelling?
Yeah, that's a really important point for parents. Normally, when a child is healthy, the nodes are working efficiently, quietly in the background. You don't notice them.
Right.
They only really swell up. The medical term is lymphadenopathy when that filtering job gets overwhelming. It means they've trapped so many germs, or maybe one particularly nasty one, that the specialized cells inside have to multiply like crazy to deal with the threat. That rapid multiplication is what makes the node physically bigger. So swelling is actually a sign that the immune system is mounting a strong fight.
Okay, that's actually really reassuring. Swelling means it's working hard.
In most cases, yes, it's a sign of a robust response.
Got it. And the third function.
The third one is waste removal, kind of the everyday janitorial service. They filter out normal cellular debris, old waste products, just keeping the whole system tidy even when there isn't a major infection to fight.
So filtering germs, making antibodies, and cleaning up waste. Busy little things.
Very busy. And if you think about childhood, especially those daycare or school years where they're constantly exposed to new bugs,
Oh, yeah.
these nodes are absolutely essential. They're constantly maintaining that internal defense and cleanliness for a growing immune system.
Okay, this brings us to the really practical part for parents listening. Recognizing warning signs.
Yeah.
We've all been there, right? Bath time, you feel a little bump on their neck, maybe pea-sized, panic sets in.
Totally understandable.
How do we tell the difference between that normal immune system is working bump and a genuine red flag?
Observation is really your best friend here. The research lays out some key things to watch for that mean you should probably give the pediatrician a call.
Okay, first sign.
The most obvious is persistent swelling. We just said that some swelling is normal during an illness. But if a node stays noticeably enlarged for, say, more than a few weeks after the illness is gone, or if it seems to get really big really fast, that's worth getting checked out.
Okay, persistent or rapidly growing swelling. What else?
Look for pain or tenderness. If you gently press on the swollen node, does it hurt your child?
Right.
Often if it's tender, especially in the neck, it just confirms there's a local fight going on, like a sore throat, ear infection, that kind of thing.
Makes sense.
But location matters too. For instance, the research notes that tender swelling in the groin nodes, the inguinal ones, without an obvious reason like a cut on the leg,
Yeah.
well, that might signal something different, maybe more systemic, and needs a closer look.
Ah, that's a really key detail. Not just that it's swollen and tender, but where.
Good tip. Okay, what's the third sign?
Third is looking for accompanying symptoms. Is the swollen node happening alongside other things like a persistent fever or unusual fatigue?
If you see swollen nodes plus a fever that won't quit and your child just seems wiped out, it suggests the body might be dealing with something more widespread than just a little cold. That's definitely a cue for the doctor.
Right, putting the whole picture together.
Yeah.
So if these signs lead you to the doctor's office, what happens next? How do they figure out what's going on?
Well, the diagnostic path is usually pretty logical. It almost always starts with a simple physical examination.
Just feeling the nodes?
Yeah, checking the size, the location, how tender they are, whether they feel hard or soft, movable or fixed. That gives a lot of initial clues.
Okay.
If the doctor thinks it might be more than a simple infection, or if the picture isn't clear, they might order blood tests.
What are they looking for there?
Things like white blood cell counts, signs of inflammation, specific markers that can point towards certain types of infections or sometimes other underlying conditions.
Got it. And what if the node is one of those deep ones in the chest or abdomen?
Good question. Or even if a superficial node seems unusual, that's when they might use imaging tests. Things like an ultrasound, maybe an MRI.
To get a picture.
Exactly. To get a better look at the node itself, its structure, and the tissues around it. See if other nodes nearby are also affected.
Okay. And then there's the scarier word, biopsy.
Yeah, thankfully it's not common, but sometimes it's necessary. A biopsy is when they take a tiny sample of the node tissue itself.
Why would they need to do that?
It's usually done if there's a persistent, unexplained swelling, especially if they need to definitively rule out more serious things like certain types of infections, autoimmune issues, or very rarely in kids, malignancy.
Okay. That whole process really shows how these nodes act like little health barometers.
That's a great way to put it. They indicate what's happening elsewhere.
So once they figure out the cause, how is it usually managed or treated?
Well, the management totally depends on that underlying cause. The good news is, for the vast majority of swollen nodes in kids, which are usually caused by simple viruses.
Like colds.
Exactly, colds, minor bugs. The best approach is often just wait and watch.
Meaning, do nothing.
Pretty much. Let the body do its thing. The swelling goes down on its own as the immune system wins the fight, usually within a couple of weeks.
Okay, that's reassuring for most cases. What if it's bacterial, like strep throat?
Then the treatment is different. If a bacterial infection is the culprit, the doctor will prescribe antibiotics to kill the bacteria.
Right, standard practice.
And sometimes, just for comfort, especially if the node is quite tender or large, they might recommend anti-inflammatory drugs. things like ibuprofen.
To help with pain and swelling.
Yep, just to ease the discomfort while the body recovers or the antibiotics work.
Okay, but what about those less common, more serious underlying issues?
Right. The research is clear. If the lymph node issue is linked to something complex, like specific autoimmune diseases or, again, rarely certain cancers, then it needs a much more specialized treatment plan. That involves specialists and a completely different approach tailored to the specific condition.
That makes sense. It follows the cause. This all leads to a pretty important question then. What can we do proactively to help support this whole system? Any preventative steps?
Absolutely. And thankfully, the basics here are really powerful.
Okay, let's hear them.
First up, just good old-fashioned hygiene. Regular, proper hand washing. Using hand sanitizer when needed. It sounds simple, but it massively reduces the sheer number of germs your child's lymph nodes even have to encounter.
Right, less exposure, less work for the nodes.
Exactly. Second, and this is huge, vaccination. Keeping immunizations up to date is critical.
How does that help the lymph nodes specifically?
Well, vaccines prevent many serious diseases, measles, mumps, whooping cough, etc. By preventing the disease itself, you prevent the massive immune battle and the potentially severe lymph node swelling that would come with it. You're essentially taking major threats off the table for the immune system.
Got it. Protecting against the big stuff. And the third measure?
Third is simply regular checkups with the pediatrician.
Just routine visits.
Yep. Those well-child visits are when a doctor routinely checks lymph nodes, even when your child isn't sick. It helps establish a baseline and allows for early identification if something is persistently swollen or seems off. It fits into that whole picture of comprehensive pediatric care.
That comprehensive approach seems key. The fact that we're even discussing this level of detail about lymph nodes shows how interconnected everything is in child health.
It really is. That holistic view is so important. These little lymph nodes, they might seem small, but they're often the very first sign that something's up, whether it's just a minor cold or something needing more attention. So the real takeaway for parents, I think, is that understanding these nodes, paying attention to them without panicking, it's a vital part of spotting potential issues early. They're like the body's silent alarm system.
The body's silent alarm. I like that. Okay, so to recap, lymph nodes are crucial filters and immune hubs. Key spots are the neck, armpits, groin, plus deeper ones in the chest and abdomen. And the signs to watch for are that persistent or rapidly growing swelling, pain, or tenderness, especially in certain locations, and those accompanying symptoms like fever and fatigue. Understanding this helps you partner with your pediatrician effectively.
Absolutely. It empowers parents.
Taking the time to understand these little immune heroes really is a key step in promoting your child's overall health.
And we really encourage you to use the resources we looked at today to, deepen your understanding even further. Pediatric health is a big topic.
Definitely. For more detailed information, specific guides perhaps on acute illness or preventive care, and to review the kind of comprehensive services that support child health, please do visit omegapediatrics.com.
Yes, that website is a great place for more context and reliable information on overall child wellness.
And of course, if you found this discussion helpful for understanding your child's amazing immune system, please give this video a like, subscribe to our channel for more conversations about health and family, and maybe share this with other parents or caregivers you know.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
It's been great talking it through. Until next time, on Have More Babies.